Cool. Nice. Nice.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for another edition of Let's Argue, where I go on the internet, I take your hot takes, your unpopular opinions, your tough questions, I respond to the best one. Danny Brown's voice is obnoxious as hell. It makes it really hard to enjoy his music. I don't know. I think his yelpy, weird-ass voice is pretty much where a lot of his appeal comes from. And he has plenty of songs where he's, kind of rapping in a more normal tone of voice, a more regular inflection. He's got versatility. He's dynamic. You're pretty much disliking one of the main reasons people like him. If you close your eyes, Snow Allegra sounds exactly like Michael Jackson. I don't know if you understand what eyes do, but closing them doesn't change the way stuff sounds. Closing your ears will. That will definitely change the way stuff sounds. Maybe he meant ears, because that's the only context in which I could imagine Snow Allegra sounding like Michael Jackson. I got a cavity filling today. Was it an anal cavity? Oh, God. What is wrong with me? Every single Super Bowl halftime show has been trash. Nostalgic-fueled musical medleys is worse than actual concerts. I mean, generally speaking, yes, I would agree, but I mean, would you say that just like the recent Weekend performance was just a nostalgia-fueled musical medley? I mean, a lot of Super Bowl halftime shows are musical medleys. I get it. It's just like, around 20 minutes or so. So you have to like try to get in as many songs as possible. It's hard to perform everybody's favorite track in full in that amount of time. A medley kind of makes the most sense. You're playing to America, like the most general, most lowest common denominator American audience that you possibly could at the Super Bowl. I don't know what else you want these performers to do. Not music related, but breaded chicken dipped in chocolate pudding is very good. That sounds disgusting. Watch the World Burn, the new Falling in Reverse track, is actually a great song if you envision it as Tech-9 performing a theme song for Shadow the Hedgehog. I mean, imagining just about anybody performing it other than the guy who went to jail for brass knuckles and has been thrown into the legal system with accusation after accusation. Yeah, imagining anybody doing it other than that guy would be an improvement. Dropping many different versions of physical albums, like this many different shades of a color on the disc, Super Insane Deluxe version, box set, VHS version, normal, etc. is lame. Should stick to 3 versions max: normal version, fan version, and rich collector/stan version. I mean, I guess you could go overboard with just about anything, having 1,000,001 different colors of an album coming out can be kind of annoying, but I mean, I've seen some runs of records like that, and they've totally sold out every color. And I don't know, frankly, when you have that kind of effect, when you're rolling out a project, I'm sure that's pretty cool and that's a gratifying feeling. And each person that has like, that specific thing that they wanted that they picked out, I'm sure they feel pretty passionate about it. And on top of it, I mean, the things that you try to whittle it down to in the end just seem kind of arbitrary, honestly. Pop isn't a music style. Coming from a PhD, no less. Can't be a PhD in music, I'll say that. I don't really get where this guy is coming from. Maybe he thinks that genres all exist as like literal descriptions of a sound, and if there isn't a description, a tight and specific description of a sound, of a style, of a musical characteristic attached to that terminology, to that genre label, then it must not be real. I regret to inform you that a lot of genres are just kind of catch-all terms, and pop music is in fact a thing, and it has been a thing for decades and decades and decades, and it is not less of a thing just because the sound and aesthetics of pop music or popular music have been changing radically over the years and years and years since it has been in existence. You are so much larger in person, it's unbelievable. Larger than what? Larger than I am on the internet? Larger than I am on your phone right now? I mean, yeah, you might be looking at me through a little screen. Did you think I'm this big in real life? Like I fit in the palm of your hand, IRL? Yeah, I'm 6'1", and I'm
a big boy.
And if you see me in person, you're gonna see a big boy. I cannot stand Chat Pile. They sound like Godsmack by way of Meshuggah. I mean, I get maybe the chunky riffs could, by a layman, be compared to Meshuggah, but I don't quite get the Godsmack. And then how do either of those artists like explain the vocals? Because the vocal doesn't sound like a Godsmack vocal, nor does it sound like a Meshuggah vocal. And the vocals are kind of one of the most central things about the band's sound and their message and their style. But yeah, that's an insane couple of comparisons there, man. I love metal, but the subgenre talk is ridiculous, especially nowadays, where we have bands that are often labeled as multiple genres at once. What the heck is blackened death metal? What is even a cyber grind? Blackened death metal isn't even a these days kind of thing. There have been blackened death metal bands for years and years and years and years, and what it is essentially is you will sort of have a lot of those baseline death metal characteristics, be it some of those double bass kicks, the guttural growled vocals, the chromatic chord progressions or leads or guitar riffs, and then with that you will have elements of black metal music tossed in, just as a bit of a garnish or a side dish or a flavoring. You might, instead of your typical death metal guitars, have more brittle, harsh, wintry tremolo pick guitars that have a brighter tone to them, have more of a kind of romantic series of chord progressions to them, a more Eurocentric brand of melodicism. There's been lots of similar genre fusions within a genre of music within other disciplines in the music world, because you have Afro-funk, you have psychedelic pop, you have jazz rock. There are much weirder combinations of musical styles out there, believe me. Blackened death metal is a pretty peanut butter and jelly one. The French will save electronica again. Lord, we can only hope. Please, French people, save electronic music again. We need you to do it. You did it once with Daft Punk. You did it twice with Justice. Come on, guys. Come on, French. You can do it. I'll even take a French Canadian at this point. Get in here. Come on, save this darn electronic music. You can do it. Trying new music is hard. So much stuff I'm told to try that I become overwhelmed with choice. Making time where I can focus on the music is tough too. And when I get time for a walk, I forget to pick what thing to try earlier, and I end up listening to my old playlist. I don't know. I mean, this is where like lists come in handy. If there's stuff I'm looking forward to or anticipating, I will put it down in the little Noti Oti Oats app. Just to remind myself, or because this is like my job, I'll put it on my Google Calendar that I have to review this by this day, so I should probably listen to it by that time. Obviously, because you're casually listening as a fan for entertainment, you don't got to get that anal retentive about it. Use scheduling, use lists, use planners. That way you can keep track of the things you've been meaning to try and to listen to. So when you do eventually get that free time, because I know we don't always have it, to the degree that we would like to, it's there. It's there for you to reference. There you go. That's Anthony Fantano's helpful tip for the day. All right, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Argue. You're the best. You're the best. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Let's Argue forever.